Okay, so here we have the plug and play initially apart. Little ditty on the little coin panel here. There's no need. I actually started removing the screws and then realized, oh yeah, this panel here, the coin panel, just slides right out. You just basically have to snip the positive and negative. So coming from the battery pack, and those are going to be your leads for your AC power, for your AC converter. So yeah, your control panel just comes right out of there, and then bang. So that's gonna go in there. It does have leads that are okay. What I did though was I ended up putting extension on these leads. This board actually seems like it's in fairly good shape with the solders. The other one I got, even though the stickers are destroyed on the outside of this one, this board actually seems to have some decent solders. The glue is kind of deteriorated. They are weak though. I ended up redoing all the solders for every single wire on the board, all the joystick leads. When you get the joystick apart, obviously you're going to want to mark which side is up. So like, you know, a little mark there so you know which way to install the joystick, so I know which way to cut the hole that this thing is going to fit into. But anyway, that's just a quick thing on the electric panel. Just slides right up and out of there instead of you having to remove any of the screws. And I'll be back when I can fit this thing into the control panel and show you how that looks. But all the buttons down here, see all that space that they take up, that's going to go away. What I ended up doing was I ended up just hot gluing the PCB to the underside of the joystick, because even with the extensions or whatever they put on here, it's still kind of a tight fit in there once everything's in there. You're probably going to want to snip all the extra lead wire off of this thing once you get it converted to AC, and then kind of snip all your lead wires short because you're going to need some space in there. But there you go. Okay, here we are back with the control panel done now. You can see it looks very simple from the top, and it's just a hole through a couple of layers of plywood. Got the new buttons mounted in there, so all you're going to need to do is just solder the leads from those buttons to where they are. I think those are the button leads on the top of the board there. Just snip those and hook them up, you know, snip them away from all this old housing crap. And here's the joystick mounted on here now. So it's basically 2 layers of wood that I put together, and then cut out one recessed square so the joystick could fit down in there flush. And you can see I've got it screwed in there really solid with just 3 screws. This screw mount was kind of wacky, and it's way up there, so I don't even do anything with it because these 3 screws will hold the joy, and they're really solid. You could also you know, once you have the holes lined up, if you wanted to, you could squeeze a little bit of hot glue down in there on the edges if you wanted to, but it's really not needed. These screws are hefty and they go into the wood really well, and you know, it gives you a really good solid platform. And then of course this will just slide into the cap or whatever, but there you go. One thing I didn't mention is that when you're snipping the excess of this long AV cord, put yourself a little piece of tape on one of these to indicate which one is the video. That'll save you a lot of headaches later on. When I originally did mine, I didn't indicate which one. I just kind of had a half-ass guess, and I wired them up wrong. But it doesn't matter because you're not going to see any of that stuff. And you know, the little TV screen is going to have a little dongle coming out of it with the power and the video and the audio. And you're going to splice into the power cable. You'll see which one it is. It's the red one. It looks like an RCA cable, but it's actually for the power. And then you'll just splice these that you cut into the yellow into the video and white into the audio. The white's actually going to go out to the audio is actually going to not go to the TV. It's the only thing that's going to the TV is the red signal, or the yellow, the video signal. The white audio actually hooks up to the speaker, I'm actually gonna do that for you. So I mean, I'll have the speaker all wired up. Or actually, no, I can't. You have to do it because, okay. So this audio out hooks up to the audio auxiliary in cord that's gonna come with your speaker. So you just cut that off, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It'll have a little audio input cord, and then you just splice this to the audio in. This is the audio out from your board. Also, if you have any troubles with that, just talk to me. I'm sure you got it. I'm the amateur here. You can see how little space you have to maneuver when you get the board out of there. Also, all this old, wow, man, that's really covered with hot glue. Those solders actually, I mean, the caps on this board, I mean, even though the outside stickers were roached, this board is incredibly much better shape than the one I actually built my pole position out of. And so I may actually, at some point, just take the time to sit down and swap out this board, because I do have a little bit of a tiny little line that comes across the screen, and I think I think maybe one of my caps on my other board went bad and leaked all over the board or something, or is going bad, because there's a little bit of a tiny line on my screen. So I might actually replace my motherboard with this one because it looks so clean. But anyway, you can see the reason. You just snip your button leads and then hook them up to these, and then yeah, but you can kind of see the reason why I put extension leads on these things, because there's just so little room to maneuver with the wiring. You might be able to pull it off, I don't know, but there it is. I'm gonna just have these 3 screws already screwed into the board. So basically all you gotta do when you get it, and there's gonna be a decal on here already when I send it to you. So basically all you gotta do is, when you get it, is just take your wheel and then screw it on there and do all the mod stuff that I'm not going to put it all the way on there, but I mean, do all the mod stuff that we talked about yesterday. But you got to put your wheel on. That's like the last thing that you do once you have all your wiring done and everything, and your extensions are, once you're satisfied we've got it up and running. Then basically the last thing you do is get your wheel put onto the CP. There's going to be the decal on there, so you're going to actually have to do that procedure that we talked about yesterday with the decal on there. So I mean, be careful with your Dremel that it doesn't slip and go down and hit the control panel. But yeah, once that's on and you have your wiring done, it's just a matter of fitting the control panel is going to friction fit into the cab really well. So I never really even glued my control panel down, since it fits in there really well with the friction. You could use just a drop of hot side when you go to put the final control panel in. That allows you to get it out again if you ever need to, instead of epoxying the whole damn thing in which case you'd have to rip the whole cab apart to get it out. So always like to leave access in my cabs to get all the components out if I need to replace anything down the road. But there it is, Glenn.